Welcome back, students. In this video, I am going to discuss how to write chemical formula with the help of a few steps. Once you get the hang of these steps, you will know exactly how to write the chemical formulae. Did you know that in order to represent a compound, you use a chemical formula, but in the case of an element, you employ symbols? Now, let's begin with a few steps that you should take into account while writing the chemical formula for ionic compounds. In step 1, write the symbol of the two elements side by side, for which you must write the chemical formula. Normally, we will use the order that the positive ion will be written first and the negative ion last. Then, after writing the symbols in step 2, we place the valency of each ion on the top right corner of each symbol. For example, Na positive, Cl negative, Ca2 positive, and O negative. In step 3, after the placement of valency, you bring the valency of each ion to the bottom right corner of the other ion. This is called the cross-exchange method. Now, if you pay attention to your screen, you will see that I am taking 3 compounds and I'll give you a step-by-step tutorial of how to write chemical formulae. For example, compound 1 is sodium chloride. So first, I will write the symbol of sodium, Na, and then on its right side, I will write the symbol of chlorine, Cl. Then, by placing a positive charge on top right of sodium, which is Na, and a negative charge on top right of chlorine, Cl, I will maintain their valency value as positive 1 and negative 1 respectively. Did you know chlorine in an ion form is called chloride because it is negatively charged? Our second compound is calcium chloride. First, I will write Ca as the symbol of calcium, then Cl for chlorine. Next, I'll put a charge of 2 positive on Ca and a negative charge on Cl. The valency of calcium will be 2 positive and 1 negative for chlorine. Then the third compound, calcium oxide. So again, I will write Ca with the 2 positive charge and then O for oxygen with 2 negative charge on top right corner of O. Remember, the valency of oxygen is 2 negative now. After writing the symbols and putting their valencies on the top right corner, you just need to bring these valencies to the lower right corner of the other ion. We call it cross-exchange method, as you are seeing on your screens. So, for sodium chloride, it's positive 1 and negative 1. So, the positive charge of Na goes to the subscript of chloride and the negative charge of chloride comes to the subscript of sodium. The formula becomes NaCl. Remember, we just move the number of the valency and not the charges to the other ion. So now for calcium chloride, the valency of calcium is 2 positive. Therefore, the 2 of calcium moves to the subscript of chloride. Furthermore, chloride has a negative charge. So 1 of chlorine moves to the subscript of calcium, making the formula CaCl2. Now we come to step 4. For calcium oxide, calcium is 2 positive and oxygen is 2 negative. So just ignore the charges and move the 2 positive of calcium to the subscript of oxygen and the 2 negative of oxygen to the subscript of calcium. This becomes Ca2O2. But this can be further simplified by 2. So it means it will become CaO. Consequently, the formula of calcium oxide is CaO. It's a very simple concept, guys. If the valency of the positive ion and the negative ion is the same, they will cancel out each other, and you will not write the valency in the symbols. For example, in the case of sodium chloride, we just write NaCl, and in the case of calcium oxide, we just write CaO. No subscript will be written in the case when both the positive and negative ions have the same value of their charge. But in the case where both the ions have different charges, then we must write the subscript. That's what you have seen in the example of calcium chloride. Moving on to step 5. You are already aware that some ions are called radicals, and these ions are those which have 2 or more atoms and have a net charge. For example, if I say sulfate, it means SO4 with the 2 negative charges. So we have sulfur and oxygen combining with 2 negative charges. Hence, these are called radicals. Sometimes we call these polyatomic ions as well. As for the chemical formula of the compounds which contain these radicals, they are also written in the same manner as discussed earlier. For example, if we must write the formula of aluminium sulfate, we will repeat the same 3 steps from above, and at the end, you will obtain the formula of aluminium sulfate as Al2SO4 3. So the net charge will represent the valency of the radical. With these 5 steps, you will be able to write the chemical formulae very easily. Stay tuned for more.